Shalom to the elect of Israel, to the hopeful elect of Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indian, and Haitians. Gotta give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, the Most High, the Heavenly Father. His Hebrew name is Yahweh, not Yahweh, not Jehovah, not God, not Elohim, not Most High, not Lord, not Yah, not Jah, not Ahaya, not Allah. It's Yahweh. His only begotten son name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shai. Not Yahshua, not Yeshua, not Jesus Christos, not Jesus Christ, not Serapis Christus, not Yeshaya, not Yehoshua. It's Yahweh Shai. So we got to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rekah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, who teach well, who are the apostles and elders of all Israel, whether you can accept it or not. And a sincere salutation to all the Akim, pushing this truth and believing this truth throughout the four ends of the earth, the entire world, waking up the hope for the elect. And shalom to the Awathium who are listening and learning, the few sisters who are listening and learning. I'm Isaiah from GMS Orlando Camp coming at you another lesson in truth, facts, faith, and edification, another daily edification. Lord's willing is be edified. And I titled this lesson, World War III will happen. World War III will happen, and it will be fought with intercontinental ballistic missiles. Lord's willing is be edifying. I got a few clips that I'm going to play, and then I'm going to get some precepts. Because World War III is a major prophecy, just like the RFID microchip, just like Jacob's trouble. It's a major prophecy. So Lord willing is be edifying.
The United States and Russia have more than 12,000 nukes combined. Over 3,000 of those can
Let's run that back.
The United States and Russia have more than 12,000 nukes combined. Over 3,000 of those can be launched within 15 minutes' notice. We avoided annihilation in the Cold War, but what if an all-out nuclear war happened today? How would it escalate based on current military strategy? How many minutes would we have? And how many people would die? We'll simulate the apocalypse in today's episode. Subscribe if you haven't already. We're glad you're with us. Princeton's program on science and global security, along with Alex Wellerstein of the Stevens Institute of Technology, have created a new simulation for a plausible escalating war between
Hey, Shalom, Ma. Shalom. Yahweh Shem Shah, Bahashem Krakadas, Barakatah. Shalom, brother.
the US and Russia. We won't keep you in suspense any longer. Here's their 4-minute simulation.
Now, this is a prediction, a simulation of how World War III is going to happen between Russia and USA. This is for educational purposes only. This is not for monetary gain. I do not own the copyright to these videos. This is for educational purposes only. Lord's willing, it be edifying. This one is titled Nuclear War Between US and Russia, 2019 Simulation. Shalom, sister. Yabashim Abshab, Bashim Krakadas Brakatah. Shalom. This lesson is showing how World War III will happen. This is a simulation of USA and Russia. Well, the missiles getting shot off from North America in the blue. Hey, it's gonna be missile shot from all four corners of the earth. They're the missiles that's coming in to hit North America. This is a perfect simulation of what's going to happen. You got all the missiles aimed at North America, man. That's why this place is going to be a lake of fire. All 5,000 square miles of it.
More than 30 million people would die immediately, and twice that many would be injured. As the video points out, deaths would rise as nuclear fallout settles. This occurs when residual radioactive material propelled into the upper atmosphere falls back to Earth. The long-term effects of an all-out nuclear exchange between the US and Russia would be severe. Agriculture would be significantly reduced for at least a year, likely more. Anyone surviving the war in the affected countries would face destroyed supply lines, limited water, food, and near or below freezing conditions. More recent estimates suggest that even after arsenal reductions from the US and Russia, nuclear winter remains essentially a certainty. A July study from Rutgers calculated that fires from burning structures following the blast would inject 300 billion pounds of soot into the atmosphere. This would push temperatures below freezing in the summertime in the northern hemisphere.
Wow. Shalom, sister. Yeah, Bashim Shah, Bashim Hakadas, Rakatah, Shalom.
Reducing planting season by 90%. Global average surface temperatures would fall by 9 degrees Celsius. Rainfall would also drop meaningfully near the equator. It would take several years before surface light from the sun was even half what it was before the war, and complete recovery would take a decade. There's no cheery conclusion here. With thousands of nuclear weapons on standby, such a scenario is terrifyingly possible. And even if we avoid intentional war, there's always the chance of an accident. In 1960, U.S. early warning systems reported long-range Russian missiles were launched with 99.9% certainty. It turned out to be a false alarm from moonlight. 2 years later, U.S. missile operators in Okinawa were ordered to launch 32 warheads, but the order didn't include instructions to go from DEFCON 2 to DEFCON 1, as would ordinarily occur. The crew asked command if they should switch to DEFCON 1, and the launch order was canceled. It was a mistake on their end. In 1995, the launch of a weather rocket from Norway triggered Russian early warning radar. It had the launch characteristics of a high-altitude electromagnetic pulse weapon. Russian forces went on full alert, and President Boris Yeltsin activated his nuclear command suitcase to authorize a full retaliation. Thankfully, no more launches were detected, and the alarm was canceled at the last minute.
Now you see right
The list
here.
goes on. There have been at least 20 false alarms over the past 50 years.
Now, if you see right here on this, it said why you wouldn't survive World War III. Because they already know, man. And this all I've been looking up for the last week, going into the missiles. And they know, man. They know. Right here it say, what if there was a nuclear war between the US and Russia? It is gonna be one. And it ain't gonna be no survivors, man. If you're not covered by Yahweh Bashim Shah, you ain't gonna survive, man.
The only way to ultimately reduce this risk is to ban nuclear weapons entirely. See the video description for more on efforts to do.
Ain't no banning of nothing, man. Ain't no banning no weapons until World War III. It tell you in the scriptures that in Ezekiel 39 that we shall burn all weapons of war for 7 years, man. But right now, these are the weapons of Yahweh Bashim Shah indignation. Let's play this. I got a few of these I'm gonna play. I'm gonna get some pre-sale. Hey, cause this is where we at, man. This is where we at right now. They done killed this guy. Beginning of the year, they killed the general. Hey, the Lord is moving these chess pieces, man.
The Pentagon just announced it successfully used a U.S. Navy destroyer to shoot down a mock Icbm warhead out at sea. But while they say it will help the U.S. combat a possible launch from North Korea, it could also serve to increase tensions with Russia and China. RT's Rachel Blevins is joining us from the newsroom with more details on this. Rachel?
Yeah, Manila, for the first time ever, a U.S. Navy guided destroyer shot down an intercontinental ballistic missile in a test that the Pentagon claims is necessary in order to enhance national security. The test was carried out in the Pacific Ocean, northeast of Hawaii, on Tuesday. In a statement, the Missile Defense Agency said they plan to use the technology as a backup to their ground-based homeland defense system in case of an attack targeting U.S. soil. The agency went on to note the flight test satisfies a congressional mandate to evaluate the feasibility of the destroyer's ability to defeat an Icbm threat before the end of 2020. Now, that order comes as the U.S. prepares for possible nuclear conflicts with Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea. But while President Trump has had his share of historic moments with Kim Jong-un, Joe Biden is promising a very different approach.
They said, why are you moving your missile defense up so close? Why are you moving more forces here? Why are you continuing to do military maneuvers with South Korea? I said, because North Korea is a problem, and we're going to continue to do it so we can control them. What has he done? He's legitimized North Korea. He's talked about his good buddy, who's a thug, and he talks about how we're better off.
It's looking for the infomercial. So lucky for that. This is one app. Let me go to the next one.
This test from the U.S. could be seen as a message to China after months of the two countries increasing their military presence in the Indo-Pacific. Beijing launched 2 aircraft carrier killer missiles into the South China Sea back in August, which was seen as a warning to Washington. As for Russia, Moscow has repeatedly offered to extend its last remaining nuclear treaty with Washington after the Trump administration pulled out of the INF treaty in 2019. But after months of stalling, the U.S. has yet to secure a short-term extension, and the New START treaty is set to expire just 2 weeks after Biden is set to take office. So now it remains to be seen if Washington's latest missile test will be met with similar actions from the countries it sees as its top rivals going into 2021. Reporting in the newsroom, Rachel Blevins, RT.
Now, this U.S. Navy missile test has many defense experts worried that a new arms race is in the offing. Now, the important arms treaties are just set to expire just after the new year. A new op-ed on RT.com discusses just that. The writer says this proves that Moscow's concerns were valid. Scott Ritter is a former U.S. Marine Corps intel officer as well as a UN weapons inspector, just to name a few titles to his credit. He's joining us now. So, Scott, can you please tell us a little bit about this new missile, the Aegis SM-3, and a little bit about this testing over in the South Pacific?
Well, sure. First of all, the SM-3 missile is a standard missile. It's standard equipment on every Aegis class missile ship, whether destroyer or cruiser in the United States Navy. Its primary mission, at least in the early versions, is to shoot down enemy aircraft and also incoming cruise missiles and short range and intermediate range missiles. This version that was tested, the SM-3 Block 2A, however, has an intercontinental ballistic missile intercept capability. Russia has long said that, for instance, the United States has deployed 2 missile defense systems, one in Romania, one in Poland. And Russia has always claimed that this missile defense wasn't against Iran, but rather was structured to take on Russian strategic nuclear weapons. And we now know that the SM-3 Block 2A is an ICBM killer, and it will equip the Polish Aegis Ashore system. So Russia's been right all along. This is, the United States is destabilized. When Russia signed the New START Treaty with Barack Obama in 2010, they said that all future arms control agreements must take into account missile defense, meaning that it's impossible for Russia to continue talking arms reductions, reducing its strategic nuclear arsenal at a time when the United States is bolstering defenses designed to shoot down Russian missiles. The United States says it's never been about Russian missiles, but now we see that, in fact, it is about Russian missiles because it's Russian ICBMs, Chinese ICBMs that are going to be targeted by this missile, not anybody else. And they talk about extending this New START treaty. Russia would be foolish to extend the New START treaty and to enter into discussions with the United States about additional arms reductions at a time when the United States is putting in place missiles that are capable of shooting down Russian missiles. Russia would be compelled to take a step back and seek to come up with systems capable of defeating this and look at increasing the size of its nuclear arsenal, take into account that some of their missiles may in fact be shot down.
You see, so as the scriptures say, let's read this. Because see, these things is being revealed, man. And who's revealing them? Hey, Job 9:24, man. The Lord, what did it tell you in Psalms 68 or Psalm 60, as a matter of fact, 64? Let's read that real quick. As a matter of fact, let's read this. Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 6. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? So you heard what he just said. They said it wasn't about that, about them trying to destroy Russia. But it is, man. You just heard him say it. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? How? The Lord put the spirit on his men, on his messengers, to do what? To bring it out. This 2 Thessalonians 2:8, it reads, and then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, which is his prophets. Amos 3:7. Surely the Lord will do nothing but reveal his secrets unto his servants, the prophets. Right? It's in the Lord, and then the wicked shall be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Now, as the Lord got his messenger to bring it out, he also have shot at them. Let's read this. This is Psalm 64:7. But Yahweh Bashim Havashah shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded, so they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. So all this time, they were lying, talking about they wasn't at Russia. You heard the guy just say it. They was, man. Let's play it back.
He said that all future arms control agreements must take into account missile defense, meaning that it's impossible for Russia to continue talking arms reductions, reducing its strategic nuclear arsenal at a time when the United States is bolstering defenses designed to shoot down Russian missiles.
Now, this is a former UN weapons inspector. Warns of war after missile interception, man. The Lord have shot at them, so now they are wounded.
The United States says it's never been about Russian missiles, but now we see that, in fact, it is about Russian missiles because it's Russian ICBMs, Chinese ICBMs that are going to be targeted by this missile, not anybody else. And they talk about extending this New START treaty. Russia would be foolish to extend the New START treaty and to enter into discussions with the United States about additional arms reductions at a time when the United States is putting in place missiles that are capable of shooting down Russian missiles. Russia would be compelled to take a step back and seek to come up with systems capable of defeating this and look at increasing the size of its nuclear arsenal, take into account that some of their missiles may in fact be shot down.
Now, Scott, when the Trump administration suddenly withdrew from the historic INF treaty last year, it also accused Russia of testing similar defense options. Meanwhile, it was actually the U.S. who was developing this kind of technology. Now, those in the psychology field would call this projection. So, given this new test and the renewed icy relations with Russia, is there any chance a Biden administration could revive the INF treaty? I know you said maybe not, go back to the New START treaty and let it expire, but what about the INF?
Well, from my perspective as an old school arms controller, my background also includes being the first INF inspector on Soviet soil back in 1988 to implement that landmark agreement. I'm a big believer in arms control. I'm a big believer in bilateral arms control. But that requires mutual trust. Ronald Reagan spoke about trust but verify. Trust is the first aspect of it. Right now, Russia literally can't trust the United States. The United States has withdrawn from every agreement it's ever entered into, and it lies about its capabilities. Would Joe Biden?
Hey, let's read that. That's beautiful. This is Psalms 55 and 20. Hey, they laughing, man. They done withdrawn from everything, man. Psalm 55 and 20. He had put forth his hand against such as be at peace with him. He had broken his covenant. And he did this against the tribes of Gad and Reuben, man, and Issachar, man. Okay, when the conquistadors and Spaniards came over here. That's why it's a separation between these nations, man. At when you read in Daniel 2 and 43, it said they shall mingle themselves to seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another. Why? Because these devils can't do right, man. Right? Isaiah 26 and 10. Let favor be shown to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness. Psalm 55 and 20. He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. This is what they do, man. Okay? The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war is in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawing swords, man. The same situation, the same scenario that happened with Gad and Reuben and Issachar, these devils doing it against their own people, man. Okay? They doing it against the ones that's joined to them. That's why I tell you in Obadiah 1, it reads this, Obadiah 1 and 7, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. What border? To fight, man. The valley of Jehoshaphat, man, Yahweh Shaphat. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. It said they prevailed. This is a future prophecy, letting you know that North America will be destroyed, man. Babylon the Great will be destroyed. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him.
Biden be wise to look at getting back into an INF type agreement? Absolutely. But remember, this is a man who says that he has to be tough on Russia, right, tough on Putin. And being tough is sort of the antithesis of meaningful arms control. Maybe it's part of his strategy. Ronald Reagan spoke tough about the Soviet Union before he entered into the INF treaty. And maybe that's what Biden's seeking to project, a toughness that allows him flexibility for negotiations. But I don't see that right now. I just see a lot of rhetoric and very little action. And like I said, it's not just the getting back in the INF treaty. It's whether or not Biden will be able to renew this New START treaty and therefore buy a chance for future arms control agreements. If the United States does not take into account Russia's concerns about ballistic missile defenses, I don't see Russia being able to engage meaningfully with the United States about future arms control.
Yeah,
it ain't gonna happen, man. It's prophecy. Okay, Russia shall be a guard to other nations. Ezekiel 38 and 1. And the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh by Shemawashah power, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. And the first video was talking about the Cold War, man. This is the Lord turning Russia back to that old Soviet Union, man. That's what putting hook into their jaws mean. And I will bring thee forth and all thy armies, horses and horsemen, and all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields all of them handling swords. It's and all of that army, horses and horsemen. This is the same thing that John the Revelator said in Revelation chapter 9, 16 and 17, that he saw the horsemen, he saw the horses and those that sat on them. Joel said the same thing in Joel chapter 2, verse 4. That he saw the horses in the vision and them that sat on them, man. Okay? It said, I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and I will bring thee forth. This is the will of Yahweh Shema Shah. And all thy army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, which is the Iranians, man. And if you know anything about history, Persia was the one that took down the Babylonian Empire, man. Okay, the Medo-Persian Empire. Guess who's going to take Babylon the Great down today, man? That same Medo-Persian Empire, which mainly is going to be Russia and Iran, man. It's a Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet, Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters and all his bands, and many people with thee. The Lord telling Russia this, Gog and Magog, many people with thee. Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. So these nations is separated from Babylon the Great.
Absolutely. I encourage everybody to go out there and go on to RT.com, check out Scott Ritter's new op-ed. It goes into great detail about all of this. Scott Ritter, thank you so much for joining us.
Now that's a guy, that's a guy that was the former, he was the former chief, it said he was the chief weapons inspector, man. Let's get this. Hey, the Lord is moving these chess pieces strategically, man. Let's get this.
A new generation of weapons vastly superior to anything developed around the world.
У России такое оружие есть.
A hypersonic system, an Icbm with unlimited range, weapons that can fly through dense layers of the atmosphere, a nuclear-powered cruise missile, underwater drones, a unique combat laser complex. That got everyone talking about an arms race and that deadly Russian missile. But from Russia's point of view, it's the one that feels threatened and wants to restore nuclear parity. So how does that work? And what did Putin mean when he said,
Нас никто не слушал. Послушайте сейчас.
To be clear, nuclear parity came as a result of an arms race. It was provoked by the first and so far only nuclear strike in history, when the US dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945. Estimates put the total number of casualties at up to 450,000.
Shalom, everybody on the comment board. Shalom. The water for tuning in. Yahweh Shem Abashah, Bashim Kakadash, Brakatham. Shalom.
By 1949, the USSR had its own nuclear weapon ready. By 1952, the US tested the first thermonuclear device. A year later, the Soviet Union followed suit. Both sides began to develop ballistic missiles in an attempt to get ahead of each other. The US installed nuclear weapons in Turkey, and the USSR put missiles in Cuba. It was followed by the Cuban crisis, which saw the world teeter on the brink of nuclear war, until Moscow and Washington realized there could be no winners. That's when the period of détente came about. By the early 1990s, it seemed the tension between the two countries was over. It was a time of promises, although some would prove empty over time. NATO famously promised Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev that it would not move an inch to the east.
Даже такие были выражения, как это было у Бейкера, госсекретаря, что мы и на 10 сантиметров не двинемся в интересах НАТО или что-то.
Recently declassified documents on the 1990 negotiations proved Russia's account is accurate.
If we maintain a presence in a Germany that is part of NATO, there would be no extension of NATO's jurisdiction for forces of NATO 1 inch to the east.
There would be no effort to exclude anyone and there would be no step taken at this time to push anyone ahead of others.
In 1994, the US changed its mind about expanding east.
We're going to move forward on this, but I'd never spring this on you.
See? You see that? What is that, man? It's Habakkuk chapter 2. They said they wasn't going to do it. Hey, these devils can't stay still, man. Right? Habakkuk 2 and 5. It reads, yeah, also because he transgressed by wine, the wine of his philosophies, his policies, his legislations, his democracy, his draconian laws. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all nations, and heap unto all people. They said they ain't gonna move, not even 10 centimeters east. Hey, these devils, man. They are the forges of lies. They are physicians of no value, man. Job 13 and 4.
But over the past 18 years, NATO's been joined by Hungary, Poland, the Czech Republic, Bulgaria, Romania, Slovakia, Albania, Croatia, Montenegro, as well as the former Soviet republics of Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia.
I got another video I'm gonna do, Lord willing. It's titled, If NATO Left North America, What Would Happen? It's a video I found. They say, if NATO leave USA, what will happen? They will have no defense system, man. They're gonna be left to themselves. As the scripture say they will be. Revelation 17 and 16 say what? And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. So that the whole Brexit deal was about them separating from North America, man. So if EU and NATO separate, what's gonna be left? Destruction for these devils, man.
NATO is now at Russia's doorstep. Here is an online meme on how Russia moved its country too close to NATO's military bases. Furthermore, the US moved its missile defenses closer to Russia's borders, another promise broken by Washington. In 2002, the US pulled out of the Icbm treaty signed decades before when the Soviet Union was still in place. What is missile defense? It enables one party to launch its own missiles and intercept any counterstrike. It could guarantee victory in a potential war. Of course, NATO and the US say their missile defenses are not against Russia, but against Iran and North Korea. But the locations tell another story. Missile defense installations were placed in Poland, Romania, California, and Alaska.
And we already know if you go against Iran, Russia gonna take over and step in, man. Russia have interest in Iran, man.
They're also planned for Japan and South Korea. Missile defense ships patrol the seas close to Russian territory.
Создаются системы, элементы систем противоракетной обороны, что нас очень беспокоит, и мы постоянно об этом говорим в течение 10 лет. Это разрушает стратегический баланс в мире.
The balance is disrupted, and Russia, which hasn't ramped up its missile defenses like the US, is facing a deadly danger.
Вы же все понимаете, о чем идет речь. Чего молчите-то? Вы все молчите. Ситуация усугубляется. Ведь это подталкивает гонку вооружений. Новый виток создает. Это же очевидная вещь. Вот мы все время думаем, а как ответить? Мы думаем, совершенствовать систему, значит, преодоления систем противоракетной обороны. Вот это и есть виток гонки вооружений.
Russia says it was forced to come up with a weapon capable of bypassing missile defenses in order to restore nuclear parity. The Kinjal MiG-31 can launch hypersonic missiles that can travel at more than 10 times the speed of sound. Thanks to that and their unpredictable trajectory, they are unstoppable. It's an unrivaled weapon. The US doesn't plan to test its hypersonic weapon until 2019. The avant-garde hypersonic vehicle can fly at up to 20 times the speed of sound.
This was March 26, 2018.
An Icbm will take it to an altitude of several dozen kilometers, from where it can dive headfirst back to Earth at top speed with aircraft-like maneuverability, dodging.
I did a video some months ago, and they said that Russia has thousands more of intercontinental ballistic missiles than North America, than any other state, than any other country, man. Russia got the most missiles. The video said that Russia had like 5,000 and something missiles. and America had like somewhere between 2,500 to 3,000. Hey, the Lord, man, listen, man. This is the Lord is doing this, man. He said Russia shall be a guard to the nations. So you know it's going to be a war, man. World War III is brewing up.
In contrast, when other existing ballistic missiles re-enter the atmosphere, they fly at a preset trajectory, making them easy targets for ABM systems. Sarmat might seem like an ordinary ICBM, but its range is much longer. The legendary Topol-M missiles can only take the shortest route through the ABM systems. Sarmat can travel via the North or the South Pole, where there's no missile shield, and it will still hit its target. But most importantly, Sarmat is a heavy missile capable of carrying more than 20 warheads. That's 5 times more than previous generation missiles.
And you see, we always start with our apostles, always go into how it's multiple warheads on the head of the missile, man. That's where the 200 million gonna come in at.
Nuclear-powered cruise missile is a unique weapon. It's basically the same as an American Tomahawk. But whereas the Tomahawk's range is limited to 2,500 kilometers because of fuel constraints, Russia's new missile can fly indefinitely. It can take any path to avoid missile defenses.
Come on, man. Isaiah 54:16. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, that bringeth forth an instrument for his works, and I have created a waster to destroy it. Why do you think they snatched up these German scientists, man, and brought them here? Because the Lord put the spirit in them to create the best weapons, man. Behold, I have created a smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his works, and I have created a waste to destroy it. I had a bug out come on my page. It last year sometime, talking about Revelation chapter 9, 16 and 17. It's not talking about 200 million missiles. It's talking about 200 million angels. These people is bugged out, man. Bugged out, man.
Just like Poseidon underwater drones. Similar to the regular drones we're used to, except these are submarine launched and travel at incredible speeds towards their targets under the sea. They run so deep that no equipment can track them. Even if detected, their high speed prevents them from being intercepted. The new weapons can work together to neutralize any existing missile defense systems. Kinjal can destroy ground-based ABM systems.
Jeremiah 50:25. The Lord Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua, have opened his armory and have brought forth the weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of the Lord, power of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans. These are the weapons of the Lord, man. Jake talking about some damn angels. No, man, it's talking about intercontinental ballistic missiles. Why the Lord got all these nations creating these missiles, man? Why? For what? What they gonna do with them? Let's read it. Revelation chapter 9 and verse 12 reads, one woe is past, and behold, there come 2 woes more hereafter. Revelation 11 and 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. Why do Yahweh Shema Shai have the spirit on these devils to create these weapons of war, man? For World War III, man.
Poseidon drones take care of those at sea. Then, the Sarmat, Avangard, and cruise missiles can be launched towards their target, bypassing any remaining barriers. On top of that, there's also a combat laser complex, Perisvet, which is unique because it almost instantly delivers an energy beam to a target and has an unlimited battle reserve. Developing new weapons is not a belligerent move, rather a move to restore parity. Perhaps this time the call for a balance of force and fair treatment all round will be heard.
Нас никто не слушал.
Hey, listen up now, he say. Yeah, man, it's going down. It's going down. It's going down. Let's get this. Hey, man, we sitting back watching it, man. And we got a front row view, man. Call out Yahweh Shema Shah. Lord willing, we be those men that get elected Hey, to sit in the cherish and watch them fall off, man.
Russia's fearsome US-500 air and missile defense system has apparently entered production and is setting new records for missile engagement range. The next generation weapon is designed to supplement Moscow's already potent S-400 and replace the A-135 anti-ballistic missile system. Not only does the weapon have unprecedented capability to hit high-altitude targets, including ballistic missiles and satellites, at extremely long ranges, there have been some claims, usually from the media, that the system could target stealth aircraft. However, while some analysts believe that might be theoretically possible, there has been nothing to substantiate that claim. What is definitively known about the S-500 is that it is of every high priority to Russian President Vladimir Putin, and that it presented publicly as primarily a high-altitude defense system. It is necessary to develop and build up technological groundwork in the area of air defense, to continue modernization of Panzer systems, to finish the development and preparations for mass production of the S-500 newest systems capable of hitting targets at super high altitudes, including near the Earth space, Putin said in May. While not all aspects of the S-500's capabilities have been known to have been demonstrated by the West, there is little reason to doubt the capabilities of Russian air defense systems. Indeed, according to US defense sources, Moscow recently conducted a record-breaking test of the S-500 system at ranges that were previously thought to be impossible. According to a CNBC report citing US intelligence officials, the S-500 surface-to-air missile system successfully struck a target 299 miles away, which the US assessed is 50 miles further than any known test. The CNBC report suggests that the missile used to hit the target was a version of S-300V4 long-range heavy NPO Navitor 9M-A2MD missile, which has a range of 250 nautical miles and a speed
Right there.
of about...
You see that? Let's read this. This Revelation chapter 9 and 16. Matter of fact, let me go back. I love to see this to show you what Revelation 9 was talking about. Let's play this again.
That the missile used to hit the target was a version of...
You see that? Revelation chapter 9 verse 16. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire, and of jacinth, and brimstone. And the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, talking about the warheads. And out of their mouths issued fire, and smoke, and brimstone. By these three was the third part of men killed, by the fire, and by the smoke, and by the brimstone. This ain't talking about no damn angels, man. For their power is in their mouth, which is the warhead, and in their tails. Why is in their tails? Because they get propelled, man. They don't need to be dropped. How they dropped them back in the other, when they dropped the Hiroshima and Nagasaki, when they dropped the atomic bomb on Fat Man and Little Boy. They don't have to be dropped. They get propelled by themselves, man. For their power is in their mouth and in their tails, for their tails were like unto serpents. What do you see right here, man? And had heads, and with them they do hurt. This looks like a serpent flying in the air, man. Because of smoke.
S-300V4 long-range heavy NPO Navitor 9M
That look like a serpent flying, man.
Which has a range of 250 nautical miles and a speed of about Mach 7.5. It also has light missile with a range of 80 nautical miles. However, it is more likely that the missile in question is a derivative of the 250
that like a serpent, man.
40 and 6
Come on, man. It ain't hard. It ain't rocket science to see what John the Revelator was describing, man.
Has demonstrated exceptional capabilities.
Look like snakes flying in the air, man.
At Aviation International News reported earlier this year, the S-500 uses several types of missiles when used against air-breathing targets. The S-500 can use the 48 and 6 family of missiles, which weigh about 2 tons and have an effective range of up to 130 nautical miles, around 240 kilometers, for longer range targets. Karnazov reports that the system uses version of the 40 and 6 with higher performance. It also employed the shorter range and lighter weight 9M96 and 9M100 family missiles, which weighed 530 pounds, around 240 kilograms, and upwards.
Hey, that's all we need on that, man. Let me come back to me. Let's get this next one. I got a couple more. Hey, cause this is the weapon Oh, you how about Shema was shot, man? Let's get this. Let me read this first. This is Isaiah chapter 9, verse 5. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. That's how they fought in the ancient time. When you watch the movie Alexander, okay, you watch the movie Troy, this is how they fought in the ancient time, right? With shields and daggers and swords up close in person. Isaiah 9 and 5. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. But this, what? World War III shall be with burning and fuel of fire.
U.S. defense officials say this is the real deal. Russia test firing its new high-speed hypersonic missile, a missile that the U.S. military currently cannot defend against. Russian President Vladimir Putin pulling no punches on his intent.
The new avant-garde missile system is invincible against today's and future air and missile defense systems of the potential enemy. This is a big success and a great achievement.
If the weapons work as advertised, there is no current defense against them.
The Russian missile has captured the attention of Patrick Shanahan, the Deputy Defense Secretary, who will take over as acting Pentagon chief when Secretary James Mattis leaves next week. Shanahan warns the U.S. needs to be able to detect the fast-flying missile much further away than current radar systems can handle. The U.S. has to detect it thousands, not hundreds of miles away because of its high-speed approach. The Pentagon may spend more than $1 billion trying to develop and field its own capabilities.
We have a number of options going on with hypersonic missiles.
The Russians are making significant yet unproven claims about their missiles, saying it's capable of carrying a nuclear warhead. It flies up to 20 times faster than the speed of sound. It can adjust altitude and direction to avoid detection. Putin says it's invincible.
We're going to need a different set of sensors in order to see the hypersonic threats. Our adversaries know that.
The challenges are also political for President Trump, whose relationship with Russian President Putin has been rocky since July's Helsinki summit.
Putin feels incredibly emboldened. Putin believes this is the time to press his advantage. He's put his forces in Ukraine, in eastern Ukraine. He's, of course, taken over Crimea. He's now gaining ground in Syria. This is Russia's time, in his view.
Now, because the Russians are putting...
Hey, the scripture said that. We just read it, man. In Ezekiel 38. Hey, it is their time, man. It's the Lord is raising them up, man. He said he will put hooks into thy jaws, man, and turn thee back. It is their time, man.
Putting so much effort into this new missile, the U.S. is responding by funding it.
Hold on. Let's play that again. Let's play that again.
Now, because the Russians are putting so much effort into this new missile.
What do you how about Shema Shah say? Let's read it. Hey, everything these devils be saying is spiritual, man. It's all prophecy. Let's read this. Joel chapter 3 in verse 9, it reads, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let the men of war draw near, let them come up. What did she just say? Let's play it one more time. One more time before I read this.
Is Russia's time, in his view.
Now, because the Russians are putting so much effort into this new missile.
What did she say? They putting all this effort into the new missile. Joel 3 and 10. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Huh? Did he just say what the Lord already had written thousands of years ago? Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Forget everything else. Take your money and develop these missiles to the best. This is Proverbs 21 and 1. It reads, "The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will." And he want them to do what? Create the best intercontinental ballistic missiles possible, man.
The U.S. is responding by funding its own effort. The Pentagon says it has no choice but to proceed.
Yeah, let's take a look at it, Ryan. It's called the Avant-Garde Missile System.
Hey, what it say in Jeremiah 15:45? The least of the flock shall draw them out, man. They don't got no choice. The Lord saying, let's read this. This is Joel chapter 2, verse 20. It reads, "Behold, I will remove far off from you the northern army, and will drive him into a land barren and desolate, with his face towards the east sea, and his hinder part towards the utmost sea. His face towards the east sea is the Persian Gulf, and his hinder part towards the utmost sea is the Red Sea. And his stink shall come up, and his ill savor shall come up, because he hath done great things." It said the same thing in Isaiah 34, 1 through 3, man, 1 through 4. That they stink shall come up, man. Yeah.
And it's called a system because what we're really talking about here is a hypersonic glider that you put on top of an ICBM to launch it into space and then get it closer to your target. Flies about 20 times the speed of sound. Some estimates have it up at Mach 27, incredibly fast, can carry a nuclear warhead. And the real scary thing about this is that as it closes in on its target, it can independently zig and zag and to avoid missile defenses. The Pentagon, for their part, they are still working on hypersonic systems of our own, but it doesn't look like we're going to have a hypersonic system in development, or at least in the field, for at least 2 to 4 years from now. So the Russians are ahead of us on this. The other problem with this missile system is that our radar systems, according to the acting Secretary of Defense, Patrick Shanahan, are not strong enough, not capable enough of detecting it far enough away because of the speed. So this is a real worry, and it's got the Pentagon planners, I'm sure, working very, very hard. There's another system, an underwater system that the Russians are working on and that Putin has been bragging about. It's called the Poseidon. It is a nuclear powered, that's right, it's a torpedo with a nuclear reactor in it that can also carry nuclear warheads. It is very long range, up to about 6,000 miles. It can travel at depths of up to 3,000 feet. And it's very fast. Somewhere the estimates are between 55 and 100 knots, 55 to 100 miles an hour underwater. The idea for this weapon is to go after large ships like aircraft carriers or shore installations. And again, this is not a system for which we have adequate defenses right now. Very worrisome. This is in testing right now, not in the fleet, not as far along as the Avant-Garde.
This is all. Oh, let me see. Let's get to what he's going to say.
The Russians have also been doing a lot of military buildup and increasing their capabilities throughout the whole year. Back in March, they tested a new intercontinental ballistic missile called the Satan II, which can carry up to 26 independently targeted warheads, reentry vehicles, if you will, 10 of them of a large size. In September, back in the fall, they did war games with China. And now these war games in the East have typically been done to deter China. They've been
doing war games now in 2020, man. This is December 27, 2018.
About sort of making sure China knew not to mess with Russia. This year, they worked with China to send a message to the West and to the United States in particular. Back in October, of course, they've now, using satellite imagery, we've been able to tell they've been upgrading military installations in Kaliningrad on the Baltic Sea, right on the doorstep of NATO. And then in November, they tested a satellite system called the Nesting Doll. Now, what's really interesting about this is not so much the actual satellite itself, but the little satellite that comes out that it puts into space outside of it. Now, the Russians will tell you this is about being able to work on satellites. That this little guy is meant to go fix and repair other satellites that they have in orbit. But the Pentagon is worried that what it could be is actually a targeting mechanism to go after Western satellites, either with lasers or maybe even to crash into them. So the Russians have been very busy this year. This is going to be certainly on the plate of Pentagon planners and the new Secretary of Defense, whoever that ends up being, well into 2019.
Hey, and that's why this guy JF Kennedy talking about we got to get to the moon before the Russians. Hey, man. The Lord got the spirit on these guys, man, to create these powerful missiles, man. Everybody got them, but Russia's gonna have the number one. Now let's play this. I got a few more, man. They short. Hey, this is needed, man. Daily edification. This is from November the 28th, 2020. It said, nowhere on earth will be safe for Russians' 5 newest weapons, America, NATO, and Israel. Nowhere on earth will be safe from Russia's 5 newest weapons, America, NATO, and Israel, man.
On March the 1st, President Putin announced a new generation of weapons vastly superior to anything developed around the world.
У России такое оружие есть.
A hypersonic system, an Icbm with unlimited range, weapons that can fly through dense layers of the atmosphere.
Now, I just showed you these videos. So they done resurfaced these videos. This premiered November 28, 2020.
A nuclear-powered cruise missile, underwater drones, a unique combat laser complex. That got everyone talking about an arms race and that deadly Russian missile. Russia says it was forced to come up with a weapon capable of bypassing missile defenses in order to restore nuclear parity. The Kinjal MiG-31 can launch hypersonic missiles.
So I just wanted to show that, which I just showed you a couple videos back. So let me come back to me and get this. But I just want to bring that out because they resurfaced this, man. Why? Why would they resurface that video? Because they know, man, they got to prepare, man. Now, I did a video last week, and it was telling you how Putin got S-500s, he got S-700s, and it says possibly that he had S-1500s, man. He ain't gonna tell you everything he got. Who would do that? Let's play this. This will say, this October the 4th, 2020, Russia's S-500 hypersonic missile, 5 potential clients for new S-500 hypersonic air defenses. So let's play some of this.
Despite considerable delays, Russia's armed forces are expected to induct the S-500 long-range surface-to-air missile system into frontline service sometime before the end of 2021, with serial production having begun early in 2018, and advanced prototypes already fully operational for testing purposes. The S-500 is expected to add an additional tier to Russia's already extremely formidable air defense network and is designed primarily to counter emerging threats from enemy hypersonic missiles and aircraft, space planes and upcoming generations of stealth aircraft. The system will have an engagement range of at least 600 kilometers and be able to engage targets in space, meaning that if sold abroad it would provide several countries with a serious upgrade to their anti-satellite capabilities.
Because they should be a guard, like the scripture just said.
Although the S-500 is being designed primarily to neutralize high-value targets, it can also engage stealth fighters if needed, and its powerful sensor suite can network with and complement those of existing.
Now you see that? So what you just see the missiles being shot out of, this is called a silo, right? Some of them may have them in the ground, but this is them on movable ones. Let's read this. These scriptures, Romans 15:4 reads, the scriptures were written aforetime ago for our learning. Let's read it. Romans 15:4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. This is Job chapter 20 and verse 21. It reads, Job 20:23. When he is about to fill his belly, Yahweh Bahashim Havashah shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. Rain what? Missiles. He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. It is drawn and cometh out of the body. What is drawn and cometh out of the body? The missile. We seeing it right here. It is drawn, Job 20:25. It is drawn and cometh out of the body. Yet a glittering sword cometh out of his gall. Terrors are upon him. This is what we see right now, man.
Air defense systems such as the S-400 and S-300 V4 to better allow them to counter stealth aircraft. Although the S-500 is a much higher-end system than the S-400 and S-300 platforms, it is expected to be marketed abroad for export much as all post-Soviet Russian multi-role air defense systems have been. With the US set to deploy a new generation of fighters, B-21 bombers and hypersonic space planes for both reconnaissance and bombing roles, the appeal of the S-500 is expected to be particularly high to provide a cost-effective means to counter these threats. The following is the leading potential clients for the S-500 system. Iran has shown a strong interest in Soviet and Russian aerial warfare systems since the end of the Iran-Iraq War in 1988, today fielding the most advanced variants of the S-200 long-range system, as well as a heavily customized variant of the S-300 PMU-2 platform. The country is considered a leading potential client for the S-400 system to counter the growing presence of Western and Allied stealth aircraft in the Middle East, but could in the long term show greater interest in the S-500 to counter an upcoming generation of American aircraft. The B-21 bomber and the upcoming bomber variant of the SR-72 hypersonic space plane in particular are considered leading potential threats to Iranian security, with the country long having been in the crosshairs of the United States military and lacking a strategic deterrent comparable to those of Russia, North Korea or China to prevent such attacks. The low cost of the S-500 is a countermeasure to new generations of stealth bombers and space-based assets, in contrast to acquiring high-end interceptors or its own space assets, provides Iran with a considerable incentive to acquire the system. Algeria.
That's all I need to show on that. So let me get rid of that. I got two more. I'm going to finish these precepts. Hey, because we're in some serious times, man. And this is a major prophecy. World War III is a major prophecy, just like the RFID microchip, which is the mark of the beast, and Jacob's trouble. Go back.
Politicians can create laws, but they will obey the laws only if there's a strong army, which is one of the most important foundations for any state. And here, we are talking not only about the military budget, but also about the ground forces, the Air Force, the Navy, and Special Forces. It is no secret that a close eye from abroad is what.
And it's always about the military budget, man. Why? Because the Lord say, beat your plowshare in the swords and your pruning hooks in the spears. This is about World War III, man. This is the Lord has established this from the beginning, man. To destroy these. Hey, let's read this. You have put your hands on the apple of the Lord's eye, man, and you got to pay. Now, how you going to pay? You shall fall on your own sword, man. The own net which you have spread it out for so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, Western Haitians, you is going to fall into that same net, man. This is Psalms 37 and 14. It reads, let's start at 12. Psalm 37 and 12. The wicked plotteth against the just and gnasheth upon them with his teeth. How? Through their laws, their policies, their legislations, their democracy, their philosophies. They frame mystery by a law. As it says in Psalm 94 and 20. The wicked plotteth against the just and gnasheth upon him with his teeth. Then it tell you in Psalm 64, right? Let's get this too. Let's read this. Psalm 64 in verse 2. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect, which is you Israelites. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in the evil matter. They commune of land snares privately. They say, who see them? Who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thoughts of every one of them, and the heart is deep. So these devils, they done did everything from the Tuskegee experiment. They got Willie Lynch letters. These people, this guy telling them how they can keep you separated, how to make you hate one another. They know what you like. They know what you dislike. They know everything about you. These devils have, it's just said in Psalm 30:64. They have been studying you since the beginning of them able to do these things, man, with their technologies. So they can keep you separated, divide and conquer, man. So what's going to happen? Because you put your hand on the apple of the Lord's eye, now he's going to destroy you by your own weapons. What it say? His own counsel shall bring him down, man. Because when you're reading Isaiah 19, as a matter of fact, let's get that. Isaiah 19 and verse 3. It reads, and the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I, Yahweh Shema Shah, will destroy the counsel thereof. So their counsel is being destroyed, right? When you go to let's get this. Isaiah 29 and 14. Therefore, behold, I will proceed to do a marvelous work amongst this people, even a marvelous work and a wonder, for the wisdom of their wise men shall perish, and the understanding of the prudent men shall be hid. Right? Let's get it again. Jeremiah 49 and verse 7. The Lord is removing their counsel, man. Jeremiah 49 and 7. Concerning Edom, thus said the Lord Yahweh of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? Let's get a precept to that. 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 19. For it is written, I will destroy the wisdom of the wise and will bring to nothing the understanding of the prudent. You see, where is the wise? Where is the scribe? Where is the dispute of this world? Have not God made foolishness the wisdom of this world? You see, for after that, in the wisdom of power, the world by wisdom knew not power. It pleased power by the foolishness of preaching to save them that believe. And everybody else that don't believe, 2/3 in the heathens, you will be destroyed. But the Lord is destroying the counsel, man. He's destroying the counsel. Let's get one more. This is Job chapter 5 and verse 12. It reads, he disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands could not perform their enterprise. He have taken, Salaki, he taken the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the forward is carried headlong. You see, their counsel will come to naught, man. Let's get this. One more. It's Psalms 33 and 10. The Lord Yahweh, Bashim Habashai, bringeth the counsel of the heathen to naught. He maketh the device of the people of none effect. The counsel of the Lord Yahweh, Bashim Habashai, standeth forever, the thoughts of his heart to all generations. So, leading to this, Psalm 37 and 12. The wicked plotteth against the just, and gnasheth upon him with his teeth. The Lord shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his day is coming. Job 14 and 5, Job 21 and 21 tell you that their days are numbered, man. The Lord shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his day is coming. Because the Lord made his days, and he put a brick wall that he can't pass them, man. The wicked have drawn out the sword and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy, which is you so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, Western Haitians, and to slay such as be of upright conversation. Their sword shall enter into their own heart, and their bows shall be broken. That's why I said in Job 20:25, Job 20:23, it shall rain upon them while he is eating, man. So you create these weapons for Yahweh Shema Shah, and you're gonna fall by the same weapons. Hey, I love to bring out when Isaac blessed Esau with the sword, right? Did he tell him he was gonna die by the sword? No, he didn't, man. He just told him that he shall live by the sword and have the fatness of the earth by the sword, by the force of the sword. But he never said, you know, you're gonna live by the sword, but you will die by it. But the Lord said it, Revelation 13:10, right? He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with a sword must be killed with a sword. That's why Yahweh told that one of the disciples that cut off the ear of the centurion, hey, put that sword up, man. But he who live by it shall die by it. I didn't never told Esau that. You see? So they have been in the trick bag since the beginning, man. Why? You have touched the apple of the Lord's eye. Now, I got to read one more precept before I finish this video. This video right here. Listen to this. Because this is what Elisha told Hazael, right? 2 Kings 8:12. It was already written, man. And Hazael said, why weeping, my Lord? And he answered, this is what Elisha told Hazael, because I know the evil that thou wilt do unto the children of Israel. Their strongholds wilt thou set on fire, and their young men wilt thou slay with the sword, and will dash their children. Did not the conquistadors of Spaniards do that to the Gadites and the Reubenites and the Israelites? Did not they do that? And the young men would thou slay with the sword, and would dash their children, and rip up their women with children, with child. Did not they cut the women open and rip them up that was pregnant with child? They did that, man. So you devils got to pay for this, man.
Watching over the Russian army. Today, the Russian army is one of the strongest in the world. Its power consists of professional military personnel with an...
And we know this. Why? Do we know it because of the media? No. We know it because the scripture said Russia shall be a guard to the nations. We already know this.
Excellent level of special training and the latest strategic weapons. Even now, the arsenal of the Russian armed forces has modern, effective types of combat weapons, but the latest developments, which will soon enter service, are striking in their technical and tactical characteristics. Most of them have no analogs. The ground forces of the Russian Federation are armed with tanks, infantry fighting vehicles, armored personnel carriers, artillery of various power and purpose, anti-tank missile systems, anti-aircraft missile systems.
Hey, and even though it tell you that Babylon the Great have over 800 military bases around the world, they ain't gonna stand up against Gog and Magog, man. It ain't gonna happen. It don't matter how many. It doesn't matter how many military bases they have around the world, man. The Lord got this prophecy playing out. How he got it playing out, man.
Control equipment and automatic small arms. Thus, the Russian army has reached an unprecedented level of equipment with modern weapons. So, what can the Russian army boast about? Find out in our video. We present to your attention the rating of the most powerful weapon in Russia. The Iskander ballistic missile opens our list. The Iskander-M missile system has a range of 248 miles. The missile can carry a 1,543-pound warhead of various types, and its circular probable deviation does not exceed 16 feet. Due to these circumstances, this system is deadly for airfields, rear points, and other stationary infrastructure along the long line of conflict. The Iskander can be retargeted in flight, and therefore can be used against moving targets, including ships. The missile uses a built-in evasion maneuvering system,
Look at that
which
serpent.
makes it difficult to
Man,
hit
that looks just
missile
like a
defense
serpent,
systems. Anti-aircraft missile system S-400. There are 3 types of S-400 missiles, and each of them is designed to engage air targets at different ranges. The farthest missile hits a target at a distance of 248 miles, while shorter-range missiles have improved capabilities to engage fast-moving, maneuvering targets. The S-400 can also be used to combat ballistic missiles. The S-400 sensor system is considered extremely effective, especially since Russia can create layered defense zones using the S-400 in almost any theater of conflict. Combined with Iskander and Su-27 missiles, these missiles can greatly impede an opponent's actions. Multiple Launch Rocket System Tornado. The NA-52-4 Tornado MLRS can provide powerful fire support to the Russian army. It is lighter and more modern than its predecessor BM-30 Smerch. Tornado has a 6-barreled package of guides for 300mm missiles with a range of up to 62 miles. The artillery unit Tornado is mounted on the chassis of an 8x8 truck. This system is in many respects similar to the American Highly Mobile Missile and Artillery System for Operational and Tactical Purposes, HIMARS. The warhead of the Tornado missile can be high explosive, cluster, or thermobaric. A battery of such systems can drown a large area in a sea of fire. Our rating will continue with Ocula-class submarines. In the 1980s and 1990s, the USSR and
That was my point on that. Let's get rid of that. Come back to me. For this last video, I'm going to finish the precepts. I know I've been going long, but hey, this is needed to be seen, man. Must needs to be seen. Let's play this.
Try to oppose the United States. I want to be clear to those who wish to do us harm. I want to be clear to those around the world.
Now, this is the pride. This, matter of fact, let's read this. See, this is the pride right here. Let's read this. Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 3. The pride of thy heart hath deceived thee. Thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest as among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Listen to the pride of this devil.
Those who try to oppose the United States. I want to be clear to those who wish to do us harm. I want to be clear to those around the world who want to destroy our way of life and that of our allies and friends.
You destroyed your own way of
The
life.
United States military, despite all our challenges, despite our op-tempo, despite everything we've been doing, will stop you and we will beat you harder than you've ever been beaten before. Make no mistake about that.
See, this is the other video. This is November 26, 2016. World War III, U.S. versus Russia. Come on, man. They know what time it is, man. They just don't know when it's going to happen. Yahweh Bashim Shai. Let's read this. Let's read this. Revelation, chapter 17, and verse 16, it reads, And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, These shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. For Yahweh Bashim Awashai have put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree, and give their kingdom unto the beast until, this is my point, until the words of power shall be fulfilled. What's the words of power being fulfilled? Revelation chapter 7 and verse 1. And after these things I saw four angels stand on the four corners of the earth, holding back the four winds of earth, that the wind shall not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. What's the four winds? And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having a seal of the living power, and he cried with a loud voice to the four angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our power in their foreheads. So, Revelation 17 and 17 reads again, for Yahweh Bashim Awashai have put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree, and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of power shall be fulfilled. What is this? Matthew 24 and 22. And except those days should be shortened, there shall no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So, until the words of the Lord be fulfilled, which is when the elect gets sealed, all hell gonna break loose, man. They're gonna be flying just like that, everywhere, coming. You see that? They showing you, man. Hey, look at that, man. All missiles, man.
Получена информация о начале нанесения противника массированных ракетных авиационных ударов. Первый, второй, третий, четвертый. Привести силы и средства в готовность номер 1.
Hey, when the missile gets shot off, you're gonna hear that sound everywhere, man. It's gonna be breaking news, all that. We under attack. Get to your local shelter. Or get to your local bomb shelter. All that, man. Missiles. Hitting ground zero, man. And their tails were like unto serpents. See that? And the tails were like unto serpents, man. And the heads were as the heads of lions. And with them they do hurt. You shall be disintegrated, man. Melted with fervent heat, man. This is Malachi chapter 4 and verse 1. It reads, for behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yeah, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day cometh that shall burn them up, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. Second Peter chapter 3 and verse 10 reads, But the day of the Lord Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works thereof therein shall be burned up.
Второй получен боевой приказ. Подтверждаю боевой приказ. Оборве. Второй, скрыть упаковки с ключами, установить ключ положения номер 1. Упаковки скрыты. Ключ установлен.
Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons are ye ought to be in all holy conversation and godliness, looking for and hastening unto the coming of the day of power, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Give you the perfect example. Man, it's gonna be a terrible day, man. It's gonna be a terrible day. Isaiah 13 and 5 reads, They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even the Lord Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua, and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. Yeah. Mushroom clouds. They tell you in Isaiah 34. And the heavens will roll together as a stroll. Mushroom clouds. Mushroom clouds. Destruction. Again, Isaiah 13 and 5. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even the Lord Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua, and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. Hey, you see it. You see it. This is Shalom, Shalom, Sister Yahweh Shema Rakatham, Shalom. This is Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 9. It reads, For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be of a mighty expert man, none shall return in vain. This ain't talking about regular arrows that get shot from a bow. It's talking about intercontinental ballistic missiles. This is Joel 2 and verse 4. It reads, The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen so shall they run. Like the noise of chariots on the top of mountains shall they leap. Like the noise of a flame of a fighter devours the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. Before their face the people shall be much pained. All faces shall gather blackness. When you see those missiles and you still left, and you gonna see these elect, because they tell you that you and their enemies beheld them in Revelation 11 when the elect get beaten up into the chariots. Hey, if you still sitting here watching that, hey, and you know that you've been screwing up your whole life, and you have came across the messengers of the Lord, and you have not repented, hey, all faces shall gather blackness. Joel 2:6. Before their face, the people shall be much pain. All faces shall gather blackness. They shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like men of war. Showing you they ain't talking about men. And they shall march everyone on his way, which we saw, and they shall not break their ranks. Neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk everyone in his path. When they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. They shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run upon the wall. They shall climb up upon the houses. They shall enter in at the windows like a thief. The earth shall quake before them. The heavens shall tremble. The sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. This is what was I forget? Salakia. Let me read this again. Oh, the earth shall quake. That's what I want to get. Isaiah 24. Let's read this. Isaiah 24:15. Wherefore glorify ye the Lord in the fires, even the name of the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashim power of Israel in the isles of the sea. It said, wherefore glorify ye the Lord in the fires, right? When you go to Revelation chapter 11, it reads this. Revelation 11:12. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up into heaven in the cloud, and their enemies beheld them. This is the point. Verse 13. In the same hour there a great earthquake, like it said in Joel 2, the earth shall quake before them. And the 10th part of the city fell, and in the earthquake was slain of men 7,000, and the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to the power of heaven. It said the remnant were frightened and gave glory to the power of heaven. What did Yahweh Shah say in Isaiah 24:15? Wherefore glorify ye the Lord in the fires, right? That's why I say the remnant was frightened and gave glory, man. Why? Right here, man. 1 Peter 4:18. It reads, let's read 17. For the time has come that judgment must begin at the house of power. And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel? And if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear? So, if the righteous are going to scarcely be saved, they're going to do what? As it said in Revelation 11:13, and the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to Yahweh Shema Shah, man, for being saved through the fires, man. Through the fires, man. This is Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, also known as Sirach. Ecclesiasticus 34:16. For the eyes of the Lord Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua, are upon them that love him. He is their mighty protection and strong stay, a defense from heat, a defense from heat, and a cover from the sun at noon. Talking about the missiles, man. A preservation from stumbling and an help from falling. A defense from heat, man. What heat? Hey, well, look at here. And a strong stay, man. Our tower, our rock, man, our defense. I can tell you in Psalm 91. It say, just to read the point. Psalms 91 and 1. He that dwelleth in the secret places of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. You see? let's get this. There's another I wanted. Salakia. It's a damn. The point was because they say because thou hast made the Lord thy habitation. But anyway, let me get this. Oh, let's read this. Let me read this. Salakia. Let's read this. It's a Psalms 91 in verse 3. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shall thy trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that fly by day. That's what I wanted. Nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. Yeah, man. It said, nor for the arrows that fly by day, man. Hey, so the elect gonna be covered, man. That's why faith, man. Pray, man. Without wrath and doubt, and the Lord said you must pray without wrath and doubting, man. But these things is we seeing it happen, man, every day in the news, every day. Now they done killed this damn guy, this other Iranian guy. This thing finna get serious, man. Oh, I'm watching the news. I had wrote it down before I forget. It said 200 million people marching, marching for the brink of starvation, man. 270 million people are marching because of the brink of starvation, man. A famine is coming, man. Famine coming. Let's read this. And you have been warned. You have been warned, man. Start with our apostles, great millstone, our elders, the younger brothers. You have been warned, man. Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 14. They have blown the trumpet, even to make all ready, but none go up to the battle. For my wrath is upon all the multitude thereof. The sword is without, and the pestilence and the famine within. He that is in the field shall die with the sword, and he that is in the city, famine and pestilence shall devour him. You have been warned. You have been warned, man. Repent. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. The Lord said in Acts 17 and 30, it reads this. In the times of this ignorance, Yahweh Bashim shall winked at. All the ignorance that we have done in our lifetime, the Lord winked at it, man. But now commanding all men everywhere to repent. The Lord is giving you time, man. The doors of mercy are still open. Repent, convert and be healed, that your sins may be blotted out. Let me get you precepts and I'm gonna close out. Because I don't went long enough. This is let me start from the top, Salakia. I only got a couple, okay. This is Child of the Most High, 01, Ezekiel 22 and 20. As they gather silver and brass and iron and lead and tin into the midst of the furnace to blow the fire upon it, to melt it, so will I gather you in my anger and in my fury, Salakia, and in my fury, so will I gather you in my anger and in my fury, and I will leave you there and melt you. Yeah, man. That's what's about to happen. The brother Abnanah, Jeremiah 15:29, Call together the archers against Babylon, all ye that bend the bow, camp against it round about, let none thereof escape, recompense her according to her work. According to all that she hath done, do unto her, right? For she hath been proud against the Lord Yahweh, against the Holy One of Israel. Yeah, man. The Lord Yahweh, Bashim Habashah, is making these devils work hard for their own demise. Khan. Oh, that's exactly what's going on, brother. This is a child of the Most High. Psalm 141 and 10. Let the wicked fall into their own nets, which their eye will escape. And the only one that's going to escape this is the elect of Israel, man. Okay? 144,000 men and an unnumbered multitude of men, women, and children. Hey, Lord, what is edifying? Got to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rikak Wadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, Ruel, who teach well, and a sincere salutation to all the ark pushing this truth and believing this truth throughout the four ends of the earth, the entire world, working on the hope for the elect. And shalom to the Wathium who are listening and learning, the few sisters who are listening and learning. The Lord, what is edifying? To next time I say shalom, wa abba. The water for tuning in, the water for tuning in, the water for your precepts. Hey, may Yahweh Shema Shai continue to bless you in your houses. Stay prayed up. Till next time I say shalom. Yeah. Hey, shalom, Mark. Yeah, we ready for it. Lord willing, we be ready for it.